I think my fiancé's cousin's child is mine. My fiancée, Sarah 27F, and I 30M have been together for 3 years. She's actually my first serious GF since middle school. I will honestly admit I've been a complete piece of shit with women for most of my teens and 20s and pretty much used women. I'm saying all this to explain how promiscuous I was in the past. Sarah knows about my past and she's grown to accept it. We met at work and she hated me because she saw right through me, and after pursuing her for close to a year she finally agreed to a date and the rest is history. We've been living together for 2 years now and I've grown incredibly close to her parents too, and she also loves my family. Past 3 years have been the best of my life and I'm so excited to spend the rest of my life with her. This weekend her cousin and her family are in town. She's really close with her cousin Lauren 34F, miracle I haven't met her yet. I was always busy for one reason or another the few times she's visited in the last 3 years. So I finally met Lauren and her husband for dinner at Sarah's parents' place. She immediately stares at me a bit wide-eyed and I can't help but think she looks familiar. We're all being introduced to each other and Lauren for the most part seems to be acting normally, but she's still staring at me whenever she can. Sarah's parents then come in with Lauren's little boy who's 5 years old. I'm looking at this kid and Lauren and the only thing I can think of is that this boy looks like a carbon copy of me at his age with some Lauren mixed in. I'm suddenly starting to remember that I took Lauren home from a bar close to 6 years ago. And I also remember convincing her to not use protection after I showed her my blood work. I'm just a sweaty nervous mess for the rest of dinner, and I think Lauren realizes from how she looked at me and the boy that maybe I realized too. And an even more fucked up part, I think Lauren was visiting Sarah the weekend I took her home. They probably had a girls' night out that weekend with their friends and I took Lauren home. So Sarah was probably at the same bar that night. Sarah asked me if I was okay and just told her I wasn't feeling well. I didn't go to work yesterday and today and just took sick days. What the fuck to do? Lauren obviously isn't saying anything. I have no clue if she was married at the time and I don't want to ask Sarah because I don't want her getting suspicious about me asking. I don't even know how I feel about possibly being a father. I'm 95% sure this kid is mine, looked nothing like the husband. Do I just shut up? I never cheated on Sarah obviously, but she knows how much of a player I was and it took her a while to get past my number. I don't know how she'd react if she knows I knocked up her cousin years before knowing her. This is vain and superficial about Sarah and I love her to death, but she absolutely hates if something is considered trashy or low class. I honestly think it's possible she'd leave me if I knocked up her cousin. I can't lose her, she's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Here is a Redditor's comment that Op is going to mention in his post/update later by you/1 crew 3394.
I'm guessing a lot of the commenters on this are men. I'm a 52-year woman. The number one most important thing in a relationship for me, and for all of the women I know, is trust. Honesty, trust, and having each other's back. This is why women sometimes can't forgive cheating. It's not the sex, it's the breach of trust. If you were my boyfriend/husband, I would want you to put me first before Lauren, meaning, literally, come to me first. Like? I have to tell you something that's really stressing me out. You know how I told you I had a lot of irresponsible drunken sex a few years ago? When I met Lauren the other night she looked really familiar. I am so ashamed to tell you this, but I am pretty sure I hooked up with her in month of year. I'm not sure if she recognized me, but I think she might have. I felt like she was looking at me strangely. I was so stressed out about it I lied to you and said I felt sick. Well, that wasn't really a lie, because I wanted to puke, and I'm still completely sick about this. I can't bear to lose you, but I can't lie to you and not tell you about this. Please help me figure this out, what I should do. Then let her go through all the stages of figuring this out with you. Let her say OMG, is that your kid, while you put your face in your hands and moan. If you do what all these guys are suggesting, and try to do damage control, and go talk to Lauren behind your GF's back, you are completely fucked. It's not the crime, it's the cover-up. If you talk to Lauren, figure out you are the bio father, and then drop the whole story on your GF, there is no way in hell she will ever believe that you just figured this out now. She will feel doubtful about what you knew, when you knew it, how you feel about Lauren, when you last slept with Lauren, etc., etc. If you want a life with Sarah, go to Sarah and ask for her help. If she dumps you, she is only dumping you for something you already told her about, your past behavior, and if she got over it once, she might even get over it again. Right now you are in the most forgivable, least guilty position possible. You have never lied to Sarah about your past and you aren't going to start now. You did not turn your back on your child, or the mother of your child. You did not know. If this kid was your baby, you weren't informed at the time. If Sarah and Lauren are close, and Lauren did have a pregnancy and conceal it from the bio father, Sarah may know all about it and may be aware the bio father wasn't notified. Oscar Wilde once said, "Ignorance is like a delicate flower. Touch it, and the bloom is off." Women are insanely perceptive of micro-expressions on their partner's face. If you find out anything, and hide it from her for 24 hours while you think about it, she will already feel in her bones you are lying and don't trust her. She is probably still wondering WTF was going on with you at the party. If you do anything else besides go to Sarah first, you are most likely done for. Trust that your partner can love you enough to get through this with you. Tell her ASAP before Lauren comes forward and says something. If by any chance Lauren is passing your bio kid off as her husband's bio kid, she may try taking some defensive actions, who knows what. Or maybe Lauren will tell your GF it's you, and that's why you acted sick at the party. OMG. Don't roll the dice. Go to her, throw yourself on her mercy, and ask for her help. Like others have said, if you and this kid share some DNA, the chance of him figuring this out in your lifetime is extremely high. Rip the band-aid off and deal with it now.
Update. After 3 days of staying at home and feeling sick to my stomach with nervousness about this, I finally told Sarah late last night after my last post. Thank you so much you/own, crew 3394, because that post gave me the push to spill my guts. As embarrassing as it is, I cried from beginning to end telling Sarah and pretty much told her I don't want to live without her. She held my hands in bed and patiently listened about how I recognized Lauren, remembered our night, and how seeing that kid mentally broke me because I saw my future with Sarah jeopardized as soon as I saw him. She told me she's upset I didn't tell her as soon as we left her parents' place and to never keep something like this from her again, but she understood I was scared. She said she's not leaving me because I never betrayed her in the last 3 years we've been together, and we'll figure this out too. And she said she'll reach out to Lauren herself and figure out what's going on because she's been with her husband for 10 years now, and if she's my ONS from years ago, she definitely cheated. We then had an even more uncomfortable about the type of things I've done in my past and wanted to know if there's any more surprises she needs to be ready for. Said she knows I was promiscuous and a bit of a reckless idiot, but we kind of swept everything under the rug when we got together because we both agreed we wanted a fresh start. And after this fiasco, that might have been a bad idea, so she wants to know everything in detail now, but we can have that talk another time. I don't feel great about this, but I'll deal with this hurdle when it comes up. Sarah has been home with me trying to get in touch with Lauren since morning and has been getting completely stonewalled. Finally Lauren texted her to, please just let it go. Sarah asked her again if they could just have a quick chat or even if text is okay, but Lauren insisted to just, let it go please. I'm guessing Lauren realized I told Sarah everything. We don't know how to proceed from here on out. We're deciding to just respect her wishes and not pursue this further. Lauren also just changed her response to our wedding invite to a no-show. Sarah is kind of upset by this, but honestly I'm fine with this outcome. We always plan to leave the US in a few years anyway. I got a lot of messages asking me to just shut up, and I was honestly ready to go that route, but I think the worry was actually physically making me sick. Anyway, thanks everyone for the advice, much appreciated. Update 2. I've had literally dozens of people messaging me asking for an update. Sarah and Lauren have been texting since my last update. Mostly Lauren apologizing because she won't be coming to our wedding. She also sent us some wedding and Christmas gifts, which was very sweet of her. Sarah didn't really push her for answers but left an open invitation to talk whenever Lauren felt comfortable. Few days before Christmas, Lauren FaceTimed Sarah and told her everything. Her and her husband were going through a rough patch in their wedding at the time. He had an emotional affair with a coworker and they were separated for a few weeks before reconciling. Lauren met me early on during the separation when we had our one-night stand. She told Sarah I'm the only one she ever hooked up with during this separation. Soon after she realized she was pregnant, she reconciled with her husband. They had been trying with no luck, so just decided to raise the child as their own. Lauren said she's told her husband and it's caused some turmoil in their marriage and they're working through it now. He knew about this nameless faceless man, but seeing me in the flesh and knowing after the fact that I'm the one guy has been a bit traumatic for him and he's feeling very insecure. So unfortunately he never wants us to ever interact or be in the same room again. I was listening right out of view from the camera, but I couldn't help but ask Lauren if this means I can never see the boy. She just said she was sorry. She told Sarah she'll talk to her later and that was it. They've still been texting and it seems Lauren and her husband will be okay with some time. Now we have to always coordinate that we're not coming to family events at the same time. Sarah and Lauren have already made plans to meet themselves though. As far as Sarah and I, we're doing okay. We had one pretty bad fight a few days after the last post went up. She wanted to know in excruciating detail everything about the type of guy I was before. Honestly felt like a CIA interrogation at one point. She cried and told me she wished she fell in love with someone else, which hurt a lot. She apologized the next morning and we've been doing a lot better now. I think we're stronger now in fact, now that she knows everything. I'm also never ever doing that ancestry testing services all these companies do. I've also gotten a much better paying job that's fully remote. Sarah will talk with her boss to see how she can convert to full remote as well, which we think is possible. We might be leaving sooner than we thought. That's it. Thanks everyone that provided advice, especially after the first post.